taking an interest in us. Although clearly, being one of the most prestigious schools in the world, I can completely understand the reason. The real question here is, why should we take an interest in you? Let's start from the beginning. I have been reading your file. Your grades are adequate. High enough, yes, although not record-breaking. But you're lacking a certain something. Let's see if I can put my finger on it. Oh, let me solve that for you. What I'm lacking is money. Welcome to Drama TM, a place where you'll find takes so hot they could be your house's heating system. Today, we're gonna be talking about meritocracy in schools and how it's inherently classist. Excuse me, young lady. I think you're making a mistake. Our school treats every student the same. Our policy is to never take into account a potential student's wealth. Oh, really? Are you 100% sure? I presume you're not accusing us of letting people buy their way in. I'm not saying you are. Some places do. But even if you didn't, even if you totally and completely didn't care about my bank account, my money would still make a difference. The idea that grading, college acceptance systems, and job application processes give everyone an equal opportunity is tragically out of touch with reality. First, and most obvious, we don't have access to the same schools. Public school is wonderful. It's also criminally underfunded. For example, one of my high school science labs was closed for 2 years because they didn't have the money to put it up to date. 2 years in which I, a student on a scientific itinerary, could not do or watch a single experiment. And I am 100% positive that thousands of students around the world have heard the phrase, "Sorry, we cannot have that elective course this year. Yeah, we don't have enough teachers." Even if the words "private education is always better" will never leave my mouth, the reality is they do have a lot more means to achieve their goals. Classes are considerably smaller, allowing for a more individualized education. They can afford to hire new teachers and offer a wider range of subjects that cater to the students' interests. And they have more material means to cover their needs, like computers that aren't from the Neolithic, for those who can afford it. As a counterpart, they also have a lot more freedom to set their own specific values, which limits diversity, knowledge of the outside world, and coming in contact with different ideologies. Oh, but we take under our wing students from every kind of school. In fact, a significant percentage of our students come from the public system. Of course, there are more of us, but even going to the same schools does not guarantee an equal opportunity. A person who can pay for an academy or a private tutor to work on the subjects they're a little behind in has a higher chance on improving their results on that subject. And if you can afford all of your textbooks, studying is going to be a lot more accessible to you than if you need to borrow them from other students whenever you can. And believe me, some textbooks are more expensive than luxury vacations. Oh, but you're wrong! Those students could surely go to the library. Yes, if we're talking college. But most primary schools and high schools don't actually have a copy of their textbooks in the library. And lots of them change from year to year. And even in university libraries, they have a limited amount of copies you can borrow. Sometimes the book you need is just not going to be available. But even worse than that, books are not the only thing you need to pass. Especially in art-related studies, you need a ton of materials to be able to complete your assignments. And they don't come cheap. For example, if you're a fine arts student, you'll need to buy paint, canvases, rocks, clay, a photography camera, the list goes on. And if you cannot pay for them, you cannot participate in the class. But even if you're not into painting like Da Vinci, you might need to buy a scientific calculator or a lamb's heart to dissect. Actually, that's a real story. Remind me to tell you sometime, it's hilarious. Oh, so for everyone to have an equal footing, we should be giving all textbooks and materials for free. Is that it? Honestly, yeah, that would help a lot. But it still wouldn't solve the problem. Because money also affects the time you can dedicate to your studies. For example, in 2018 in the US, at least 43% of all full-time undergrad students and 81% of the part-time ones had a job at the same time. I'm pretty sure it's fair to say that going straight home after class to take a bubble bath and maybe catch up with some homework is not the same as having to go to work and getting home in the middle of the night. And this doesn't only happen in university. Even if the percentages are lower, a fair amount of people work through high school. I myself worked full-time both during my finals week on the last year of high school and the previous weeks to my university access exams. I even missed one of my tests because I had work. Oh, but I have your file right here. Your grades are high. You yourself are denying the point that you're trying to make. Oh, don't look so pleased. I managed to get good grades just because I've got good memorization and writing skills, and I got super lucky with some of the topics. But I'm pretty sure the stress and lack of time for studying hindered my results. Because it's not only time that gets affected by working and studying. It's also mental health. As we talked about in previous videos, you cannot be your most productive self when you're experiencing burnout. A relation between working while studying and higher levels of stress has been proven by numerous psychological studies. We tend to think of stress as just being nervous, but anxiety can actually affect your mood, your sleep, your blood pressure, even your cognitive abilities, just to name a few. It's easy to say how this might get in the way of your academic life. My God, we all get stressed from time to time. Working students do not have the monopoly of anxiety. Indeed. But do you know another great cause of stress? Money. And not having enough of it. Worrying about money is not only uncomfortable and damaging, it's also incredibly time-consuming. So obviously, the impending sense of doom of not knowing how you're gonna pay for rent this month can interfere with your grades. Very well, but grades aren't the only thing that colleges and potential jobs value. We also take other things into consideration, like volunteering and languages. Yeah, I'm aware. You're still wrong. Volunteering is wonderful, and yes, it can give your CV a boost. But do you know what volunteering requires? Time. And if you want to be a fancy overseas volunteer, also money. And both of those are things that working class students don't exactly have laying around. Same goes with language learning. It's way more difficult to learn a new language if you don't have either bilingual parents or the money to pay for an academy or a stay overseas. Yeah. But what about the previous work experience that you were so complaining about? Well, I don't know about you, but I for one haven't been so lucky as to work in my specific area of study. Would you give me a job in your psychology department because of my flawless resume as a waitress? Yeah, I didn't think so. Well, you might have a point. So, can I study here? Yes, I think that can be arranged. The tuition costs are just 3,000 euros. I hope you've enjoyed this video. There is a lot I haven't had the time to talk about. So please, let me know in the comments if you would like me to dive deeper into this subject. If you liked my little rant, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and share it with someone you think might need to hear it. Subscribe to my channel for more awesome content and click the little bell icon if you want to get notified whenever I upload something new, which is probably gonna be next Friday. Bye!